All right, guys. All right, guys, what's going on? This is Non-weaponized Preparedness intelligence briefing for Halloween 2021, October 31st. If Glasgow fails, the whole thing fails. Talking about the G20 summit in Italy. The United Kingdom is heading an international summit seen as crucial to bringing climate change under control. Boris Johnson says there's no compelling reason for procrastination on climate change. The goal is to keep the global warming limited to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100, but we are on track for 2.7 degrees Celsius, which the UN says would result in a climate catastrophe. You know, guys, that's one thing that I think we as preppers overlook is the global climate. When I think about climate change and the summit going on right now, I think about how crazy it was after 9/11 and how crazy it is even now with COVID, having to get tested before going on even a short flight. All right, guys, let's talk the Sudan anti-coup protests. Let me just see if I can bring that up. There we go. Sudan anti-coup protests. Protesters barricaded by pro-democracy activists. You know, guys, I'm all for that. I'm all for another country trying to gain their democracy back. But the way things are going, the way they're doing things, it's going to lead to war. And I believe as a prepper that if we just watch and wait, we're as good as dead. We're really in the outlying stages of the Sudan coup, but I'm watching it like a hawk, tell you the truth. And I think I'm going to stay on the subject of the Sudan coup for the remainder of the video. Sudanese protesters have barricaded roads in the capital as part of week-long demonstrations against a military coup. 3 people were killed on Saturday when security forces fired shots and tear gas to disperse protesters, medics said. The Interior Ministry denied that live rounds had been fired. The Interior Ministry denied it. That's a cover-up right there. The army seized power on Monday, detaining Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok and other civilian leaders. The UN's Sudan envoy, Volker Perthes, met Mr. Hamdok at his residence on Sunday. Mr. Perthes said Mr. Hamdok was well, but remained under house arrest. We discussed options for mediation and ways to move forward for Sudan, he said. Coup leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan dissolved civilian rule on Monday. The general, who also called a state of emergency, said that his actions were justified to avoid, quote, civil war and stop political infighting. The military takeover has drawn widespread international condemnation. I can believe that. Saturday saw the biggest demonstrations yet, with tens of thousands marching across the country with Sudanese flags and chanting "Not to military rule." Not to military rule. That is really just shocking that the U.S. could be thrown back in as part of protecting the Sudanese people. And that's one of the things I prep for. Just civil unrest and the repercussions that come of it. So with that, I'm going to end the news briefing. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. Understand, Commander, that torpedo did not self-destruct. You heard it hit the hull, and I was never here. When I was 17 years old, I helped my daddy build a bomb shelter in our basement because some of them took apart a couple warheads 90 miles off the coast of Florida. This thing could part a couple hundred warheads off the coast of Washington and New York, and no one would even know till it was all over. And that's why I'm a prepper.